Welcome back to the OSM channel. In today's video, I'm going to provide an unboxing, assembly, and initial review video of this Bilt 3100 PSI gas pressure washer. Now, before we get started here, I just want to disclose my arrangement with Bilt. They sent this unit out in exchange for this video, but have no fear, I'm still going to provide an honest and unbiased review of this product. But I will say, this does come at an opportune time because on the siding of my house, I have some mold and algae issues, and my old pressure washer wasn't nearly as powerful as this unit is. Additionally, my old pressure washer was on its last leg, so this definitely came at the right time. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this pressure washer. So the model number, or SKU number, SKU number, is THA-0352. Again, the PSI rating of this pressure washer is 3100 PSI, 2.4 GPM pump. It does include 5 different nozzle tips. Additionally, it includes a 25-foot reach hose, which that's really nice because you can have your power unit positioned pretty far away from where you're working, and you're just not going to have to move that motor around as frequently. So that's a really nice touch. Aside from that, it also includes a soap tank. I believe that can hold 0.2 gallons. As for the box it came in, pretty large box, relatively undamaged, came here in good condition. And the weight of this box is 71.3 pounds, so this is pretty heavy. So without further ado, let's unbox this unit and see what's inside. First thing I'll say, phenomenal job on the packaging. You have 1-inch foam padding on the top of the box and 1-inch foam padding on the bottom of the box. On some sides, you do have this 3/4-inch foam padding. On the opposite side, you have this really heavy-duty bubble wrap, really good stuff. And also on the corners, you have these heavy-duty corner guards, like 1/4-inch thick solid cardboard. So again, just a phenomenal job on the packaging here. So the first thing I noticed here was that the kill switch was not inserted into the motor housing shroud. But after looking at this for a little while, it makes sense. The reason they wouldn't want that in there is during the shipping process, if something got knocked into the box right here, that could damage this kill switch. So it was left off intentionally. I'll show you how to pop that in now. Now, if you take a look at the back side of this kill switch, there is a contact lug. And it looks like that's supposed to make contact with this point. I do like that they left the paint off that, so that will ensure that we do have a good contact. So let's try and pop this right back in here. That's back in place. I just want to reiterate, Bilt did a phenomenal job on the packaging. I don't see any damage to the components whatsoever thus far. Anyway, what's included in the box? Obviously, you get your power unit, which consists of the motor, the water pump, fuel tank, so on and so forth. Here is your detergent tank, which this feels like a pretty heavy-duty plastic tank. Some mounting brackets. Now, as for the sprayer, this just feels really comfortable in the hand. I like that they have siliconized grips on the handle portion, so, you know, just saying right now, it feels like it'd be really comfortable to spray with this for an extended period of time. A couple bags of mounting hardware. This plate looks like it gets attached to the handle, and on this plate, this is where you would insert your extra nozzles. Obviously, the handle, 25 feet of hose, and this hose is rated at, I believe, 3,500 PSI. Yes, it's rated at 3,500 PSI, and our pressure washer is rated up to 3,100 PSI, so we should have 400 PSI of a safety margin there. Aside from that, plastic tires, and they seem pretty heavy duty for plastic tires. I mean, it's not like we're moving this thing miles down the road. We're just moving it, 50 feet around the yard at a time. You also get this clear tube, which this might be an induction line for the tank. We'll have to see. Perhaps a spark plug wrench, a funnel for the motor oil, your spare tips or different tips depending on what application you're trying to use this unit for. And finally, it's nice that they include motor oil for the engine. In this case, 10W30, so you don't even have to go to the store to buy engine oil. So included with the unit will be this quick start assembly instruction guide, and this actually looks really easy to follow. For example, we're going to start off with the wheels as well as the front mounts. Now, taking a quick look at the mounts, they have this nice big chunk of rubber, and that is a vibration dampener. Obviously the wheels. So what hardware are we going to need? Well, we're going to need packet A and B, and what's really nice is that included in every hardware packet is a letter. So in this case we have the A packet, which we need, and the B packet, which we will need. So first thing I'm going to do is install the wheels. Now, included in the B hardware packet will be a shaft as well as a hairpin cotter. So we're going to take the shaft, insert it into the tire, lift up on the back of the motor, and slide the shaft through the tubing. Take our hairpin cotter and clip it into the shaft. And repeat the process on the other side. So next, you're going to want to rotate the machine 180 degrees as to where these pieces of tube steel are facing you. Grab yourself a couple blocks of wood and just position them underneath the engine to keep the front propped up. Next, we're going to need to grab our shoes / vibration dampeners, and these get installed on the tube steel frame right here. So you're just going to line up these bolt holes, grab hardware kit A, and insert these bolts through the frame. Tighten on the included nuts on the back. And to tighten these up, you're going to need a 12mm socket. Next, we are going to install the detergent tank, which is going to mount on top of these two lower brackets. So the fill is going to be positioned towards the right side of the machine. We're going to slide this in here, and we're going to find hardware kit C, which will include these 4 6mm fasteners. And the 6mm fasteners are going to require a 10mm socket. Next, we are going to install this detergent induction line onto the pump. So this induction line has a white tip, and that white tip has a filter. So that's actually going to be inserted through the cap on your detergent tank, and the top portion of this tube is going to connect to this nipple on top of the pump. Next, we can install our handle onto the main tube rails. And you're going to look for hardware kit D. I don't think it matters which way you install these. I moved the pressure washer on the ground because it's going to make it a lot easier to install this panel, but this panel is simply going to get butted up onto the handle assembly, and you're going to need hardware kit E, which will consist of 4 M6 bolts, and again you're going to need a 10mm socket to tighten these down. Next, we can connect our hose to the pump itself. So there's going to be a plastic cap protecting the threads on the pump. In this case, it's going to be this nice gold anodized part. And additionally, you know this is the right point to connect to because there's actually an arrow on the casting. And additionally, the garden hose hookup is right below it right here. So you only want to make this hand tight. Next, we need to connect the wand to the sprayer tip. So in order to do that, we're going to remove this black protective cap. And just thread it onto the sprayer gun. Now to start off, I'm going to install the 25-degree nozzle tip. And to swap these in and out is just like changing an air hose. So to insert the tip into the end of the wand, simply push in and the side should lock forward. To remove it, simply grab this connection, pull back, and your tip will pop right out. They do also include a tip cleaner, which that's a nice feature. So if you do have a clogged up tip, you can pull the tip off, insert this cleaning rod through the tip, and hopefully that will clear your blockage. I have installed the other tips onto the machine as well. So next we need to add the engine oil. No oil in unit. Add oil before starting. Oil recommendation: 10W30, 20.3 fluid ounces, or 600 milliliters, which 600 milliliters is equivalent to 0.6 liters. So according to those instructions, we just need to add this full thing of oil. So I'm going to remove the cap, and it is nice that they include an orange funnel. So we'll insert this in the fill, add this full jug of oil. So if you add that recommended amount, you will spill some on the ground. I guess that's just how it goes. So this is something I probably should have done up on the table, but anyway, looks like during the shipping process they intentionally don't connect this box to the motor, and you do need to connect it to the motor. It looks like this is probably a CCV filter, crankcase ventilation filter, so any blow-by probably goes through this line, goes through this filter. This probably catches oil or something, and then those exhaust gases get reinserted into the intake. So you have kind of like rubber mounts, and it looks like they just slide into these receiving holes here, so that pops right in. It's not a big deal. Next, let's add some gasoline to the tank here. I do like that there's a little gauge right here, so it'll tell you how much fuel is in the tank. Really nice gas cap, chain attachment, very nice. Alright, now we're ready to fire this thing up for the first time. So I've already connected my garden hose. You may notice some water leaking. That is coming from my garden hose. That is not coming from the unit. But I have cycled water through the wand, and that's something you want to do. So let's try and start this thing. So we're going to want to ensure that the fuel is on. It's currently off. Now it's on. Then we're going to switch it to start, which is choke on. Also the kill switch, we'll make sure the kill switch is on. Give it a pull, see what happens. So let's talk about my final thoughts on this machine. First, I want to talk about the break-in period. So it took about 4 to 5 minutes for this machine to break in. I was a little bit worried because the muffler started to smoke for a little while. And what I think that was, it wasn't from us overfilling the engine oil. I think that was from residual shipping oil just burning off the muffler. So that smoke went away. Additionally, the pump didn't work correctly initially. It took about maybe 2 to 3 minutes for that pump to break in, the water to really flow through it. But after that, 2 to 3 minute break-in period, everything worked flawlessly. I noticed that there was no rattle on the machine. The only thing you could hear was the roar of the engine. Let's face it, this is a gas engine, so it's going to be pretty loud. I'd recommend hearing protection. But aside from that, I was really impressed with the amount of power that this machine produces. You will not be able to achieve the same results with an electric pressure washer. I mean, what's an electric pressure washer produce? 1700 PSI, maybe tops? This thing at 3100 PSI, it blasts through mold, mildew, algae. The machine's performance is just phenomenal. Additionally, I was using the green 25-degree spray tip the whole time. Like, I can't even imagine using the direct stream spray pattern. You know where I think that may be useful? If you're doing like hydro excavating, maybe going through some rocky soil and you want to loosen that up, that might be an excellent application for that. You're going to make a mess, but it may make digging a lot easier, and maybe that's something I'll test in the future. Really impressed with the machine. The only thing I'll say I slightly dislike about the machine is where the hose is wrapped up on this holder right here. Now this holder is metal, and this hose, I mean, it's a high pressure hose. I would have actually preferred this to be plastic, or at least lined with some type of rubber or something to help protect the hoses, because I mean, yes, the burrs are knocked off, but still this is metal, and I don't want that hose wrapped around that piece of metal. So aside from that, fantastic machine, highly recommended. Thanks for watching. As always, I will catch you on the next one.